Today is July 21st. We are at Broadview Aviation in Gregory, Arkansas, and we would like to welcome you to the show.
The humidity, it's been pretty nice. It's been in the mid to upper 80s the last several days during that rain event, but it's changing. The moisture day is Wednesday. By this time next week, it's supposed to be in the mid to upper 90s. Saturday night or Sunday, we got 2 to 3 inches, which was a blessing because we hadn't had a good rain in about a month. We had gotten a few tents here and there spread around, and but we were wide open irrigating. I don't know how many pumps we were running, but in terms of fuel, being electricity or diesel, it was about $24,000 to $25,000 a day is the way I had it figured. So pretty expensive when we're irrigating. I just talked to Matt this morning. It was forecast to rain last week starting about Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he was getting 1 to 2 inches a day or a lot. We weren't getting anything until Sunday, and we got 2 to 3 inches, which was about right. But I wish we'd had 2 to 3 inches spread out over the last month. It saved a lot of heartache. I've got a gut feeling this is going to be a good year. The farmer is the eternal optimist.
We farm together as a family. If we all put our heads together, I don't know what we couldn't achieve.
Hopefully we hit 90 bushel. I think we could do it. Just have healthy plants and a good return on investment.
One of the worst things about farming is making a decision on planting depth. 1/4 of an inch on your depth, sometimes you won't get a stain.
As you can see, my pinky ring's empty, so obviously I didn't win. With this class of guys that's in Podfathers, I mean, anyone could win.
So now that we've gotten some rain and we don't have to irrigate for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, we're doing a lot of repairs that we needed to make. When we're irrigating so heavily, I was on the phone with Roger. We've got a pipe leaking on a center pivot. Now is the opportune time to fix it because it's actually got 2 issues. So since we're going to work on it, we might as well fix everything. And we were just making sure we had the parts and inventory to complete the repair and do it correctly. We'll either do that this afternoon or in the morning when it's a little cooler. Because right now it's probably close to 90 degrees, 70% humidity, so it's warming up. So we're doing 498 acres, almost 500 acres. We're doing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're doing 10 fields. And we're gonna use, this time we're gonna use 4 ounces of Preaxor and put in 4 ounces of Propicon in there for our curative portion of it. And then we're gonna put in some foliar fertilizer, including 1 gallon of K-fuel for some extra potassium. So we've got Veltima on everything, and we've got Revitec on all the earliest beans, a few thousand acres, and then we're gonna go with Preaxor and Propicon with some additional foliar fertilizers. And that'll happen, now over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I've got some pretty decent looking crops, but I got some stuff I'm not too proud of, but we'll go take a look at it. Let's go see what we can find. We've got our sweep net. We're gonna go check for worms. We've got some army worms in some late soybeans, or double crop soybeans. They're small. Had lefty middle, so the army worms are present. We may check some of the bigger worms for corn earworm, see about any pod feeding, but at this point these beans are waist high, belly button high, or maybe even taller. The canopy's so thick the moths I don't think the moths like to fly through them to lay their eggs, which would hatch into a worm. So I don't think we have that kind of pressure right now. fields we look at right here, I guess. So we got 3 different varieties and 2 different row spacings, and as far as that goes, 2 different irrigations going on out there. There's fields that I won't even go into in the whole season. Maybe it's my fault. I mean, it is my fault, but there's a lot of fields that, if only maybe might make 1 or 2 visits. The first time I broke 100 bushels, I think it was 101, and I thought, I had 2 fields side by side, different varieties. We cut the first field. The other one wasn't quite ready. I was like, man, if this one made 101 bushels, that one right there is gonna make 140, and they looked that much better.
Yeah.
And they made like 98. So this right here, they're on 15-inch rows, planted about 140,000. Stands probably around 125. I looked at them yesterday. They're belly button high or close to it. They'll put on maybe a couple more nodes. This is the time of year, and they're looking good, but when, look at, there's a stink bug, a green stink bug. Over the next couple of weeks, these pods, these later pods will further elongate, start filling out, and these pods, there's a nice 4-bean pod right there, start filling out. So in a few weeks, there'll be more to look at. It'll make me feel better. Right now, it's that time you're like, yeah, it looks okay, but I know I've been in it long enough. There's some stuff that's not showing up just yet. Few flowers left on here. Probably put on another node or 2, which will put us at about 20, 21 nodes. And our pod retention it's hard to tell right now. I mean, there's 4, and I'm sure there's a little one in there somewhere. If we can hold these pods on each node, if we got 20 nodes, that's 100 pods. So at 125,000 population, that's certainly has potential to make over 100 bushels. To hold the first pod, it's 90% or greater chance to hold it. Second pod is 75. Third pod, 55 or 60% chance. When you start talking about holding the 4th, 5th, and 6th pod, that last pod, it's less than a 10% chance of actually holding it. If we can hold 4, that's good. If we can hold 5, that's even better. And of course, if we hold 6 on every node, that's huge. Most of my beans are following corn, so we got a lot of residual nitrogen. Plus, I've been on litter program forever, so that continues to break down and give us nitrogen. So I'm probably getting some benefit there. Fungicide, this has Revitec on it, and we'll come back R4, R5, and probably put a little more, maybe Preaxor with a curative like a propiconazole, just mainly for the plant health. These are still gonna get some height on them. They'll end up probably rib cage. But last year we got all those hurricanes and blew a lot of these beans down. This particular variety stands real well. Here's the money right here. Here's where these guys right here along the main stem are the ones doing a lot of the work. The ones on the outside are bonuses, and we may knock some off. Yeah, they're still viable. I mean, they're white. We talked about that in the past. The white ones are the ones that more than likely came from the inoculant, the applied inoculant. Like that little black one right there, that's probably from a local rhizobia that was already in the soil. So it's still working for us. Let me find a big fat one I might break open. They're still producing nitrogen. They're still working for us. I don't know if we can see it right now because these are really not quite finished out, but I always like to see a huge cluster of pods at the top. That tells me the plant, even though it's finished out physiologically due to the sunlight, it still had enough energy to set every piece of fruit it could. The plant's just trying to reproduce. So hopefully, that was right here on the edge. Hopefully out there where the beans are a little taller and not exposed to the edge, that put on another couple nodes. So if we're at 18 or 19 nodes, and we'll be 20 or 21. And again, if you do the math, that's plenty. This is pivot irrigated on 15-inch rows. We're gonna move a quarter mile to the south and look at some 30-inch furrow irrigated. about 30 miles south of here. We're putting in 5 48-foot bins with a loop system. Bins are gonna be 9 rings tall, so they'll hold around 50,000 bushels apiece. So 5 bins, 50,000, so another 250,000 bushels of storage, and that'll put us right at a million bushels. So it's just too busy. We got too much going on over there, so we need to hopefully handle high volumes of production coming out of the field. Anyway, this will be real busy starting in about 5 or 6 weeks. Towards the end of August, we'll start with some corn harvest, hire moisture, dry it down, and move some of it to market, or store some of it in this new system. Some of the corn raised around here, not so much mine, will go east to the Mississippi River, and that typically goes export. About everything we raise here will go to feed the poultry industry, and Arkansas has a big presence in the poultry industry, starting 20, 30 miles west of here. There is boron toxicity, and it will burn your leaves a little bit if you put out too much. But 10% boron on soybeans, quart to a half gallon, you're fine. I probably wouldn't go any more than that. 70 to 90%, depending on who you ask. The boron's taken up to the root system anyway. Since it's got a negative charge, it's not attracting any positive charged ions or soil colloids, and it'll just leach on through. That's why you got to put it out.
Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. And when we went to these, we took an automatic increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour, which is incredible. Sometimes we don't have enough truck to keep up with what this combine can harvest. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none.
I'm very fortunate that I've been working with Concept Agritech now for 4 years. We have 12 Concept Agritech plots out right now. We feel like we're picking up some pretty good bushels.
Oh, here's one of their flagship products here. This is their Cowboy product. It's their calcium boron premix. They do have a great line of products here. Man, this is like drinking water. I think every crop needs a gallon or 2 of it. It does that much for you.
This is fucking badass. Yeah.
That mountain pass is somewhere here, somewhere. You gotta get in and show you. But you can see it. Boy, you might not be able to see it now.
We're definitely gonna be here till tomorrow.
Grant,
What's going on?
what's going on, buddy?
Who'd you bring with you?
I brought, here he comes over here. Grant Smith, Greg Dell.
Nice to
Very
meet you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
He's from Carroll County.
God's
He's
country.
doing he keeps telling me it's God's country. It does rain there a lot.
Oh, I wish we had that.
Yeah, it's a little dry here, isn't it?
Hey, what'd you bring me?
So this one here, this is the backspin. This is Corey Atlee's product for burning the beans down. I got you enough to put in 1.5 gallons to the acre. Put it in with like 15, 20 gallons of water. And it'll burn them back. But it won't burn them, you know what I mean? It won't burn them real bad because it's got some humics in it and stuff. And then the one up front, after we get done with that, we're gonna try to alleviate all of your stress.
All right.
So we're gonna try to keep, once you start.
Can you drink that too?
I mean, I don't want to. It's a little sugar and a little bit of something else. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get them unloaded.
All right. Greg, get them out there. Come on, what do you think I brought you for?
Well, I mean,
Come on, man.
Watch us rip that thing apart trying to slide it
Man,
back.
I was just thinking the same thing. You want to try to wrap it around it? Look, big supporter. Big supporter. You don't think he can get the forks in there just a little bit?
Hey, how about I lift up above the bed?
Oh yeah,
You could do that. Just lift up a little
take it
bit.
up.
You probably hook it now.
All right, cool. Straight back.
That's good. Pick it up, I gotta get it out of there. You're good. Oh, wait a minute, this is, you're doing, you're gonna do a 60-acre mix with this, right?
Yeah,
You're getting to a stressful situation down through here.
always am.
Ground's, I can't get it, I thought you'd have wet, I thought it'd be wetter than this down here.
Yeah.
It looks like a storm's just gonna pass right over.
It just passes right over.
That's what it looks like. It's staying on that side of the mountain.
Hills are a little bigger than Westminster.
A little bigger, just a little. You wouldn't farm your hills. I
Yeah.
wouldn't farm your hills. I can tell you that. I'd let that shit grow in trees. Just
I
like
still
you
gotta
do.
see the mountain pass where he comes down the
I'll
mountain
take
with
it.
the combine. We gotta see that.
Yeah, I bet that's interesting.
All right, let's go look
Let's
at
go
the
there.
beans.
All right, let's go.
I really didn't think that you'd be hurting this bad. It's fucking, you said it was dry. I didn't know it was this dry.
It's dry. We got some rain last night that helped us. I got a path out through there, see?
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Come on, Santa.
Santa, come in.
Did you bring a shovel?
No. It's wet, we'll pull it up.
Actually, looks pretty good out here.
I was gonna say it's fairly saturated for
Yeah, it is.
3 days ago.
When?
Soon. They're starting to really grow now. All this is new growth. It's getting ready to start, throw another one right here. But see, you've got them branched. And see, you're starting to, what I was noticing on some other beans where it's like just their trifolia, you know what I mean? It's just like this hanging out there.
Yeah.
And there's none of this behind it. But it's a big long thing with just trifolia. This is what you're starting to, you're getting ready to start shooting blossoms pretty hard. So what we really need to do is burn them hard now. And 3 or 4 days from there, maybe not even that, maybe get them washed off and then put the other stuff on there. And then it's gonna protect all these blossoms. Because every one of these, you don't want to abort any of them.
Oh wow, look at that. That's head to toe.
Yeah, like every root.
Yep. What's interesting about these compared to mine is mine nodules were a lot tighter to the taproot.
And these run out every
Yeah,
root.
these run out everything.
I'm steady ripping them off, but they're like, they run out every root. I pulled up pretty much all of that. But again, I mean, we got plenty of branching here. They look pretty good. But yeah, see, I mean, these.
Got enough to beat you?
Maybe. Doesn't take much sometimes. I'd burn them like now. As soon as you can get across the ground, I'd be burning them. Where is the ones that weren't treated? That way? You want to walk back down and then around? So we don't trample through here. I mean, there's more burn on them than I thought it was. I mean, if you look down in here, you can see them. See, so it happened at an early stage at trifolia 2 and 3. So you got to reach down there deep, but you can see all this. And all we're trying to do is stun them. Just shut them down a little bit. And as soon as you stun them down here, that's when you start branching more. He said that he saw a pretty good difference between over here on this side pulling plants, and then over there on the other side, a check strip that it's his old management program that he did, and they're mainly like a thin line bean with not a lot of branching on them. So what we're doing is working, and we just need to continue going, because every time that they run away from you, they'll start to run on you. See all the branching that you have, even on a small plant? That's the idea. They'll be filled up with pods up and down every one. We've seen it before where we've tried to put a bunch of fertilizer down and tried to make beans what they're not supposed to be. They get away from you, you can't get them controlled. But just keep them burning them back. It'll keep controlling them, short, squatty. You know, that's what we want. And that's what these plants are setting up to be. If you let them go, and in between each one of these, instead of being an inch or two, that's a little over an inch. What will happen, it'll be 6 inches in between there. Instead of this bean being this size, it'd be 2 foot taller than this and be a straight line. And all your blossoms are just straight up and down the main stem. That's all you have. That's extremely yield robbing. As much as you think it's not, but you've spent all your money in growing the vegetation, not the reproduction.
We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we've got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
We got some Monty's product. We use it in a lot of other crops. It's a changer. Monty's.
That's what our carbon and the AgriSuite is doing, is breaking down that phosphorus that's in the soil and making it available to these plants, and it's showing.
We focus on things that complement soil biology, things that complement soil health.
Monty's liquid carbon, it just keeps giving back. So this is 3.9 again. It's planted 2 weeks later than those 15-inch rows. So there's not any pods on there to speak of. They're just starting to actually elongate some of the earliest pods. So these have a long way to go. So I'm gonna do a few sweeps in here just to see if we can maybe pick up some corn earworms. I had a pair of cowboy boots one time, kind of like a leather sole where they put them together with tacks. I kept walking, man, my foot hurts. And then it really hurt. And I couldn't take it off because the way the nail had come through, it was pointed forward. So when I tried to pull my foot out, it was going deeper into my foot. So I ended up having to cut the boot off of it. Now, luckily they were new. I took it back to the store that I bought them at, and they said, no problem, gave me a free pair, gave me another pair. But that was painful, one of those little tacks. So those are 3-cornered alfalfa hoppers, I call them little fat triangles. There's another looper or clover worm. You see that? 3-cornered alfalfa hopper, just flew off. There's definitely more worms in those younger beans. And all these other little creepy crawly things. There's a spider looking thing. There's a little hard-shelled bug. And right now, most of these are leaf feeders. That army worm is eating that other worm. Check that out. Yeah, look at that.
I got it.
You see that? Can you see that? Yeah. He's eating that other worm. Fast, too. Look at him, he's like, man, this is a buffet right here. Definitely more roots. It's hard to maybe see how many are there because I knocked several of them off, but I mean, there's some really nice fat nodules there working for us. Again, this is a non-irrigated portion of the field, and we went through 3 weeks of no rain. I really don't know what effect that has on nodules. Probably not good. You'd think they'd need moisture to hang in there, but this time last week, these beans were stressed. So they'll be all right. We get another rain or two, we'll be okay. Again, the irrigated's out there. This is a 140 acre field, but there is about 30 acres out here that's not irrigated. You can almost see the individual grains of sand and feel like sandpaper. So let's go down the road. Let's look at one more field, different variety. It's irrigated underneath the pivot. They look pretty good to me. We'll just see. I hadn't been out there and looked at them. We'll just see what we got. I get asked a lot, irrigation versus no irrigation and what it means to me. So this right here on the end is non-irrigated. These beans are knee high. So as we go out here, and these are pretty much done. Look how all the nodes are stacked. It may put on a little more because it rained, but for all practical purposes, they're done. Here's where they got some irrigation, but not a lot. And then we're gonna get out here to where it's irrigated. So the beans are lush, putting on a lot of fruit. They got a lot of growth to go. So, I mean, these beans right here, they're young, probably have 12 nodes. And if we put on 2.5, 3 nodes a week, and then with decent weather and the irrigation, and these are good soils here, pod retention, I mean, these ought to be 80 plus bushel beans even though they were planted late. A lot of horsepower left in these guys. So plenty of moisture, plenty of heat this week, next week, and to come. It's not even August yet. 3rd week of August, these things ought to be cut out and really filling some pods. So you can tell, I mean, this is young, tender vegetation. They're just growing like crazy and setting a lot of fruit. No complaints here.
Improve germination in your fields with the Germinator closing wheel from Farm Shop MFG. Our spike design with inner rim shoulder firmer seals your seed with a firm vein of soil, providing maximum seed to soil contact. In low moisture conditions, this vein of firmness has the added benefit of wicking moisture up from the ground, creating the ideal environment for maximum germination. For more info and to order a set of Germinator closing wheels for your planter, visit farmshopmfg.com.
Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. And when we went to these, we took an automatic increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour, which is incredible. Sometimes we don't have enough truck to keep up with what this combine can harvest. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none.
Watch for snakes, Temple.
I got boots on, I'm good.
What population do you put these at?
I was shooting for 180, but
I mean, if you get into, like, all these are evenly spaced, and you look at this plant here that's evenly spaced. It's the same, these are the same variety, right?
yeah.
And look at the difference between the two. That's a big difference. That's huge. I mean, just the stem alone is huge. And that was an evenly spaced plant, same row.
You gotta know what road to take. Roads.
Road. Exactly.
The branches on the plant from inside are as big as the stem on the plant from out here.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Still pretty damp.
Yeah, ground's got a lot of moisture in it.
That's unbelievable.
And this, I mean, these here, I mean, look. Oh, man, I broke that one. Sorry, Grant. I mean, it's still got some branching in there, but that's broke off at the
yeah,
ground.
and I mean this one has branching
but like
too,
physically, they're still, I mean, they're still taller.
Yep.
They're still physically taller. Let's see that one. Roots are completely different. I didn't get all these up. You should have had a shovel. Come on, man.
We're in your pickup.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a shovel. Actually, I did. Oh, it's on the trailer. I took it off. Sorry, Grant.
Remember how you were saying about how mine are going out? It's because we're feeding them up top.
Yeah. His roots like stick way off the sides, like this far. Like way, way out. He washed some out the other day and I was like, but then all his nodules on his, they're all right here. Where Grant's like this, you're filing out I mean, even the ones I pulled out there, they were all the way out the roots.
Do you think that could be variety or no?
I mean, it could be.
The way it expresses
it could be a million different things. It could be just how its root system. It could be, I don't know. For the most part, you know, it's hard to believe that you can foliar feed, you know, a plant to get them straight to grow high yields. But I mean, my actual plant food that I put down on these fields, other than phosphorus, it's really nothing else there. It's not like I'm going out and putting 150 or 200 pounds of potash down, because I'm not. But my base saturation for my potash ratios are higher anyway. So if my base saturation's higher, I can afford to put on less. You have a low base saturation on potash? So yeah, and anything, 8's too high, so we're like 6. So I'm at the higher end. You're high too though, aren't you? Because you put on plenty of potash. So he's the same kind of way that I am. His soil samples actually look almost identical to mine. Like they're really, really close. But his problem out here is he doesn't have available phosphorus source like chicken manure, cow manure, or anything like that, like not to cover what he needs.
Right.
Yeah, so back to this, I think that, yeah, you need to burn them back because they're getting ready to take off. We want to keep them shorter. And then we want to, it looks like you've got plenty of stress around here. So we want to alleviate as much of that as we can.
After you stress them.
After, I want you to burn them down, and then take all the stress off. Because then it's going to be time, they're going to be blossoming, and we're going to cut back on the burning down thing, unless they can get to a point where they get growing hard and they get vegetative again, and then we'll burn them again. So.
Burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn.
Hey, what fungicides can you get? Can you get Veltima?
I would have to check. We don't carry them in stock.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good on beans. I mean...
Sounds good. Give me a price on Veltima.
How many acre you need for it?
60.
Okay. All right, let me check.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Everybody uses it.
Really works. I've been using it since when they first brought the product out, and it wasn't even out. We tried it the first year, and I mean, we took like a high yield plot, and like it was like big time. Yeah, it was big time. And I'm like, good Lord. So you're gonna just take the products that we've mixed those couple together. They're all Monty's products. Everything in that shuttle's Monty. It's just to alleviate, you know, the stress. But do that after, but then the other stuff is the stuff from Corey Atlee, and that's what you want to burn down with. But there's enough humics in that, don't be surprised that if you don't see burn. Burning them
right
with the micronutrient pack in them. So before we were burning them, and then we were like in a race to be like, okay, can I get a shower of rain on them or something? This is kind of like, there's some microbes in this where the other product doesn't have it. From what I'm seeing, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work well in our program. On both guys, they're following the same kind of regimen that I am on, where we're on that every 10-day schedule. And it just depends, like some places, like it's harder for Grant to get tissue samples out and then get them back from, you know what I mean, just logistics wise. Like me, where I'm at, the place that does the tissue sampling is only 35 minutes from me. Like worst case scenario, I can drive them there and we can get them back pretty quick. Greg's have your turnaround times, what, 3-4 days at best?
That's the same way.
So it's the same
But
thing.
I can get
So
an Amazon package the same day order.
I know.
yeah, exactly. So what we're seeing is we have been trying to follow the tissue samples and where it needs something. But again, the tissue samples only tell you so much. You'll have some guys that'll tell you that, well, tissue samples really aren't for high yielding beans, but that's complete crap to me, because if you're a 40 bushel bean guy and I'm trying to be a 100 bushel bean guy.
I thought you were trying to be 20.
Actually, I have grown some 20s. But if you take those two plants, they completely act different. So a tissue sample is going to tell mine what it's lacking at 100 bushel, and it's going to tell yours what yours is lacking at 40. So that's what we use them for. We don't use them because it drives higher yield every time you bump the number. What you set your plant up to be is your baseline that you've already done.
Right.
You've already created your environment. This is just going to add to it. So we've taken tissue samples, all three of us, and we've trying to compare them. What we seem that we lack all in common, all three of us, is calcium. That's our biggest fight. The hard part with calcium is getting it to pull into the plant. So with some of the other products that we're adding together, we're starting to see that we can pull it in, and we can start to see a little bit of a difference. I don't think that calcium, the problem with calcium is it's a Band-Aid for a hatchet wound. I don't know that we can fix that.
Thanks for coming, asshole.
How about we just start with some beans?
I'm good with that.
This is why I'm losing this year, these knuckleheads out there.
Well, maybe he'll find his 5-bean pod today. He's looking pretty hard at it.